another planet? Is Janet from 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 another planet?
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day. Tonight, I thought that I would talk about where did Valentine's Day come from, and other romantic things that we can do to spice up our romantic relationships. And to, just try to be more natural and just let things flow instead of feeling like you have to be forced into something, because not everybody wants to go out to dinner or go to a bar or go dancing. I mean, there's lots of other things to do. But I just thought, why not? I didn't have any plans. I thought, might as well just, dress up. And I did a promotion on my posts for a poll and asked if everybody wanted to see me as a blonde or a redhead, because everybody seems to want me to dress up as a blonde, because I guess men just love blondes. So I thought, I don't know, but I definitely don't want to be a blonde if I don't have to. So I thought, okay, I'm going to wear red, because red, I think, symbolizes what everybody thinks of Valentine's Day, with red roses and stuff. So I thought I'd wear a red wig tonight, and some black wings, and I don't know, a little spicy, fun outfit. It would be fun to wear, and talk about romantic stuff. I've got a few articles that I'll share, and I'll take questions from the chat, and if anyone I know, I see in the chat that says they want to come up and tell a story about romance or whatever, and I know them and they've been on one of my shows before, then I will be happy to send them an invite on my Discord and have them join me if they want. But I was gonna bring up a few things, but earlier when I first started setting up the whole thing so I could stream, Travis had come in and put this up. Valentine's Day is a gimmick made up by the flower and greeting card industry to make money. Well, maybe, but I don't think that there was greeting cards and stuff like that, in stores and things like that back when Valentine's Day first started. But I'm not 100%, but I just wanted to share that because I thought it was kind of funny. But so let's say happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Oh, hello. Hi, Darren. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm a redhead tonight. I'm not green like I was when you joined me on my show. I thought it was funny. But thank you for stopping in and saying hello. I really appreciate it. And I don't know who this person is. So I don't know what that means or whatever. I don't have any rings in my nose or my tongue or anything. So I have no idea what this is. But I guess he's a spammer. So I guess I'm going to have to get rid of this person. Oh, I hate to do that, but I always seem like I have to. Let's see. Yep, there we go. They're gone now. But it's sad that people like that to ruin things for other people. But thank you, everyone that did show up. One thing that I thought was interesting was the whole concept of Saint Valentine. You know, I never really thought about that. So I started looking it up and looking a few things up, and I found out that a couple of links from the History Channel and a few other little things that I was able to dig up that were interesting that I didn't know anything about, because it says Valentine's Day is a holiday celebrated every February 14th. And in 2026, it falls on Saturday. So across the United States and other places around the world, friends and loved ones exchange flowers, candy, gifts, you know, all in the name of Saint Valentine. But who is this mysterious saint? And where did these traditions come from? So I was going to look it up and find out so I could share it with you guys. It says that, from what I could found, it says that Valentine's Day is from ancient Roman ritual. So I thought that was, I was like, wow, really? So it welcomes spring to the card-giving customs of Victorian England. In the history of Valentine's Day, it says the story of the patron saint of lovers is shrouded in mystery. We do know that February has long been celebrated as a month of like romance, and that Valentine's Day, and a lot of people get married and they get engaged, right? So as far as I know, I mean, honestly, I don't really know a lot of people that live outside the country and that don't have, you know, American traditions and things like that. So I don't really know much about other religions and whether or not they have something like Valentine's Day or, you know, or even like Christmas type of thing. But I do know that the Christians, most people I know are Christians or Mormons or, you know, Pentecostal, you know, different people from around where I live and the few states that I've lived in for, you know, long enough time to make friends. They all celebrated Valentine's Day and bought roses or for their mother. A lot of people pass Valentine's cards out at school, you know, things like that. So as far as I could tell, it seemed like quite a few people that I know of, at least in the United States, celebrated Valentine's Day. So I did find out that they said the Catholic Church recognizes at least 3 different saints that are named Valentine. So I thought that was interesting, and that they were all martyred in the 3rd century AD. And then it said one legend contained that Valentine was a priest in Rome, and when Emperor Claudius decided that single men made better soldiers than the ones with wives and families, he outlawed marriage for young men. And Valentine, realizing the injustice of this decree, defied Claudius and continued to marry couples in secret. So when Valentine's actions were discovered, Claudius ordered his execution. So that is one of the things that I was able to find. I thought was pretty interesting because it's like, you know, really? I don't know. I guess when you have someone that's in charge like that, they're able to just, you know, order someone's death without a trial or anything like that. That's interesting to me, that whole concept, because I've never lived, you know, in any environment where that type of thing you know, so it's like, I don't know. I just think it's very, very interesting. So let me go back over here to real quick to the comments. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. I do love wearing my makeup and everything and going and doing stuff as Janet from Another Planet. It's a lot of fun. I've done it as a blue person too, but I've gone to Star Trek conventions, with the white hair and the antenna. So dressing up, and different stuff I just really like doing it. It's a lot of fun. So thank you for saying that about my me transforming, because I am now in my human form. I'm not in my alien form like I was the night I interviewed you for your comic book. But how is your stuff going? I just wanted to ask that. Is it doing pretty good for you? I hope it is. But there was a few things like that I thought was interesting. The whole historical stuff that I was able to find about, they were martyrs basically because they were all executed or whatever, and that's why, I know that's one reason why they became saints, but that they would have that kind of story for someone that would make you want to go out and celebrate, getting flowers or whatever to give to your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, or your boyfriend, because I know a lot of girls that do stuff for their boyfriends or husbands. Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Some of these stories. But what's really interesting is that there's so few people that are interested in looking things up and interesting things, trying to find out something they didn't already know about something before, and to find out where it even came from. Where did that come from? How come people celebrate that? It's interesting sometimes. Where certain origins of dogs come from, or birds, or other, species of animals, or, certain traditions in different families that's passed down from one generation to another. So I think all of it's really interesting. But I just thought it was really interesting since, it was Valentine's Day, and that, we could talk about some of the things that I found out about. And then there was the other one was, it said that a bishop is the true namesake of the holiday. Okay, and this is another little historical story that backs where the origin of it could come from. It said that he was also beheaded during the same Claudius's reign for refusing to renounce his faith and converting new followers. So a lot of people seem to die because of their religion. If you don't think the way I think, or you don't do this or whatever, we're just gonna chop off your head. That way you can't go out and convert other people to believing your point of view. I mean, really, think about it. I don't know. It's only a few religions that I've ever read about or found out anything about that did that type of stuff. I won't say which ones they are, but most of us know which one it is. The ones that believe that if you don't believe their religion, that you're an infidel. I'll just say that. And that women can't show their skin or anything like that. They got to walk around with just two little slits on a cape, basically over their whole body, so that they can see, because men think that if they get turned on by a woman, it's her fault, and that, she should be beaten in the street if she's not covered up, that kind of stuff. I just think it's pathetic. They live in the Stone Age. At least that's the way they treat women. And women are treated like they live in the Stone Age, which I think is horrible. I'm thankful that my religion with Jesus, his mother was a huge emphasis on his life as a human, that type of thing. So I don't know. I'm just thankful that I wasn't ever put in a country like that where I'd have to, be controlled by someone. So I'm very thankful for that. So let me get back on this. It says that other stories suggest Valentine might have been killed for attempting to help Christians escape harsh Roman prisons, where they were often beaten, tortured. According to one legend, an imprisoned Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting himself after he fell in love with a young girl, possibly his jailer's daughter, who visited him during his confinement. It's like a Romeo and Juliet. Before his death, it is alleged that he wrote her a letter and signed "From Your Valentine," and an expression that is still used today, although the truth behind the Valentine legend is murky. All the stories emphasize his appeal as a sympathetic, heroic, mostly importantly, romantic figure. And by the Middle Ages, perhaps thanks to his reputation, Valentine had become one of the most popular saints in England and France. So, in a way, it's like very romantic if you think about it. Someone who's willing to die for you is like every person's, romantic fantasy about what they could have. Everyone wants someone who loves them above anyone else. You just want to be, hugged and told you love them, or they love you every single day. And you should want to do that to the person that you love. But I guess over time you get tired because you have to, you have responsibilities and things. So you don't say it as much. But, my mother always said, try to make sure at least you hug, tell someone you love them before you go to bed every night, because they may not wake up the next morning. And the older you get, the more you really start to think about that, because especially for me in the last like 5 years, so many of my friends that I were in high school with, relatives of mine, my cousins, things like that, they're just passing away from cancers and other things. And, I think that a lot of them had made, some really bad choices for their lifestyles. That's one thing. But I don't know. It just seems like the older you get, the more you realize what little amount of time you have left, on this earth, and that you want to use it as wisely as you possibly can. And why would you want to do that by yourself? So in a way, it makes you start looking for someone, to share your life with, because you don't want to wake up every morning by yourself. You want to have someone that you can talk to when you're having problems with your job or, any of those things. And that way you can, have someone just to spend time with you. And when you're sick and you're in bed, you would like to have someone that would make you soup and, make sure you have plenty to drink and fluff up your pillows or whatever it is. Either way, it's just nice not to be alone. But it seems like after this last fiasco we had with with COVID and everything, that more and more people seem to like being by themselves. I've met so many people that I knew like 15 years ago that I met through work or, other travels or something like that. And I'd bump into them again. And, it was happened to be they bumped into them and they were like, how are you doing? Whatever. But they were not doing the same things that they were doing when I first met them. Now they picked a job where they're on a computer and they stay at home all day, every single day. And I just think that's really sad that we've gotten to learn to live alone. I'm not one of those people. I love interactions. I love going places. I love meeting tons of new people, like at Comic-Cons and, other festivals, Jazz Fest, Mardi Gras, all those different things, and listen to good music and eat good food, go fishing, go hiking, doing lots of things with other people. And I love socializing, I just love doing that, barbecues, things like that. And so many people just don't want to go. You say, hey, you want to go I'm going to this or whatever. No, I'm not interested. I don't really like meeting a lot of people, stuff like that. And I feel really bad for people that have become that way simply because of things that have gone on around them in their communities or whatever. And that sense of, I don't know, companionship, it just seems that it's dwindling. So I'm always telling people, get to know someone. Don't get on a app and swipe one way or another, to meet someone and then hook up with them and never see them again. If you want something, why not make something that's meaningful, something that's, I don't know, memorable, make memories with someone, make them, what if you could spend the rest of your life with your best friend and they could be your lover and your best friend? Wouldn't that be the best thing you could think of that would make you happy, and then have a family together and then watch your kids grow up together and then one day be grandparents, or maybe even live healthy enough life to where you can be great grandparent? Gosh, to me, that's a dream come true right there, to be able to achieve that goal. Because for my life, it seems like that is America. That's what I thought America was, is a place you could go and try to have all the things you could ever want, if you earn it. If you go and you work hard, you can have good things. You can have things that you can't just go buy. Just because you have $1 million doesn't mean you've got a great life. It just means that you got $1 million. But if you had money and you had a place, what good is it if you can't talk to someone about anything, because they're going to use it against you, or they're going to steal from you, or they're going to take everything you've worked hard for. It's sad if you can't have a relationship with someone that you can trust and tell them anything about you, or they already know that you burp and you do whatever it is you do, and they still care about you and want to be with you. So I don't know. I just wish more people could find out what it's like to be able to be in a relationship that you can trust the person you're with. And I just think it's getting smaller and smaller, because I remember my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary, and everybody was so happy and excited. People were bringing gifts and food, and we had a what do you call it, a buffet, all set up with food and stuff on it, and people brought different stuff, and it was 25 people there maybe. And I thought it was wonderful, because they were all there to celebrate somebody working that hard on their life to be married for 50 years. I mean, does that even happen anymore? Not because someone dies, because they don't make it, because they're sick or whatever else. I'm talking about the couple that's able to get up every day and see each other every day, eat together, work things out, figure out how they want to raise their kids together, that type of stuff. And it's just, I just wish we could have that again. I wish I could look around when I go places and see more people, hand in hand, seeing young people open the door for someone, I don't know, and not see people just wanting to rob each other, and just see so much hate. And it's really hard, because when you get on different apps, like X or Facebook or Instagram or any of these apps that people have, and now we have more stuff like this where people get on podcasts and stuff, and they do nothing but harass other people. Like that guy that was just, or woman, whoever it was that came in here, just started saying the same thing that I don't even know what it meant, just to be irritating. What kind of life is that? And they probably spend most of their time by themselves, because most people that I know that end up doing that, they don't socialize well. So when they do interact, they're the odd man out, basically. And it's really sad. Oh, I wanted to look at the chat again. What is this? What? Hello, Alex, the back wet. That's a funny name. Are you an it? What's an it? Oh, you mean, am I not really a woman? No, I was born a woman. I'm a real woman. A lot of people who know me know me a long time and know that I'm a mom. So yeah, I was born a woman. If that's what you mean, I don't know if that's what you mean or not. I just wanted to bring that up because I didn't understand what you were saying. But let's see. who is this? Hi, everybody in the live chat. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate it. What are you wearing underneath? I'll ask that. I'm sure everyone wants to know about it. But let me see what else I had up here real quick. That was I'm gonna share this real quick. This was in the chat. I'm gonna put this in the chat. You're going commando? Well, that's interesting. I'm sure it is for a lot of people. I don't know that many women who do go commando. You know, and they're either all nude or just wearing a robe or something like that, or a towel. I don't know that many women. I never go braless unless, you know, I'm in the bathtub or whatever, or in bed, because, you know, it's a lot to carry around sometimes. All men should understand that, you know, in some capacity. But oh well. But let's see, where was I? Oh, I want to share that one link about the history of Valentine's Day that I was reading about, because in case you're interested and want to read about it, because I know that it's later in the day already and that Valentine's Day is almost over. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was ways that you could probably you know, spice up your romance. Let's say that you've been married a long time, or you've been in a relationship for a very long time. What's something that maybe you could do to add a little spice, you know, to your relationship to liven things up? Now, I wouldn't just start doing weird stuff without talking to your partner first. I would sit down with your partner and say, hey, you know, let's try something once a month. Let's do a date night or different things like that. But I would talk to them about adding these things to do to make it a little more exciting around the home. You know, if you have kids, I'm sure you understand that you can't just you know, do whatever in front of your kids, and you have to work things around your family. But I can, you know, everyone knows that that's just part of being in a marriage and raising kids, is that you have to move things around, you know what I mean, for your children. But I was going to bring up an article, but I guess I won't right this minute. But I was wanting to come up with a few things that I thought maybe you might want to try, you know, in your whenever you can, you know, in your relationship. I thought that that would be interesting, you know, to add a few spicy tidbits of things that you can do. So let's see. Let me find. I had some notes here. Let me see if I can find them. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Okay. One of the things that I thought was really fun that someone I knew tried it once, and then, you know, I've tried it a couple times, and I know a few other people who like who said they tried it and thought it was pretty good. But let me take this comment down. I forgot it was still up there. Sorry about that. It's just, you know, I have to go back and forth looking at this stuff. But one of the things they did was they said that they had, now she did it at the place. They went to like some family gathering where there were like, at a barbecue or something like, and she said there was like 50 family members there, and that most of them were older, and they just were sitting in lawn chairs, and they were boring, you know, and they wouldn't play any music because then they said they couldn't hear each other talking. So they were just drinking and walking around and, you know, talking to a few people. So when she went to the bathroom, she said she went in there and she took some like boob shots in the mirror and, you know, her hiney pictures and things like that. And then she started just texting them to her husband, is saying, I can't wait to get you alone. You know, just being real naughty text just to get a rise out of him. And that she said every time he would do that, he would you could see his face change and things like that. And he was, just turn and look at her and he'd smile real big. So they started doing stuff like that because they said it really was fun. It was exciting and it livened up when they're at a boring event, or something. And then all they could think about was, I can't wait to get home, that type of thing. So I thought that was really cute. And I think that's a really good thing that you can do. Now, what I would do differently is that I would, if I knew I was going to a function or probably I might want to use it, then why not, get some cool outfits or different things to wear and then lay on the floor or whatever, and take some pictures and then have them in your phone already, and then when you go, surprise them with a couple of those, something they weren't expecting to see when you send it to them. And it's not the same outfit you're wearing, so they'll know that you went in the bathroom or whatever. But I just thought that was, and the fact sometimes that impresses a woman when a man does something for her, it isn't the fact that he bought her flowers or he bought her a box of candy. Depending on the situation, it was how much you planned to do it. Did you do it days in advance, or did you just leave and say, "Oh, I'll be right back. I got to go to the gas station," and then you come back with something? You don't feel very special when you feel like they just went and got what everybody else got. They didn't put any effort or time in it. And sometimes it hurts your feelings when you know that this person either forgot and only saw something, or someone said something to them and it made them remember and they went and got it. Or, this can count for your birthday, for your anniversary, for anything like that, not just Valentine's Day. So try to remember to put something on your phone that says, hey, in 2 days is your anniversary or something like that, and go that day, or be thinking about it to go get something or do something, so I don't know. I just think that a woman thinks about things like that, and a woman can't wait to the last minute to do most of the things, especially if she's a mother. Because she's always got kids that she's got to make sure they have, lunches for school, whatever it is, so that they're always, thinking 2 steps ahead, trying to be, ready to react or do whatever they need to do. So, they don't wait around, they plan things out. So that's all I was going to say is I recommend that you do that. But I can tell you one thing. If a guy came to me and he handed me some flowers and they looked like he'd picked them somewhere, like a little open bouquet or something like that. And to me, that's even more sentimental, because a person that, just like I said, that takes time out of their day to call you and say, can I come by? And then they bring you something like that. It just looks like they spent a little more effort on you. So you must be higher on the, on their list than the person they just go, here, give you a box of candy because they got 15 in the back of their car, when they drive around, just pass it out, things like that. So the effort behind it is impressive to a lot of women, especially if you show up at her house and you have a single rose, and then you sing or you play a boom box or a little, radio, your phone or whatever, a song to them, and then you want to dance with them or whatever. Just a slight romance, you know what I mean, type of thing added to it. I think that really does add to the spices, for the person that wants to feel special, and I know you do that, men, especially men, is that when a woman bakes a cake for your birthday, okay, she spent hours making it for you, decorating it, and then she tries to make your favorite meal, whatever it is, a steak, a pork chop, a certain recipe that your mother shared with her or whatever, and she does that for you, and then she brings out the cake that she made for you. I'm sure that makes you feel really good, because it shows you that she spent a whole day preparing something just for you because it was your day, your birthday, or it's your anniversary or whatever it is. So little things like that, I think it does matter, not just to women. It matters to men too, about whether or not you spend any time thinking about them. Or another great idea I thought of that I saw other little things that I thought were interesting, but what about this? What if you gave you a card to your, your special lover or whatever, like the wife or the girlfriend could give a card to her man, and in the card there's a gift card to go to, like let's say a lingerie shop or a perfume shop or something like that, and say, buy whatever you want me to wear for you, that type of thing. So basically he's getting her a gift, but she's already paid for it. Okay. But wants him to be able to go and shop and see what he wants her to wear for him. And I thought that was a really good thing to do, to, get a little spice in there somehow, without having to, I don't know, say, oh, this is what I want, or what, talking it out. Get the card and then let them pick it out for you. And just don't bitch about it when they bring it to you. If they bring you something and you don't like the color, who gives a shit? The fact that he went there, he picked it out because you put your size in there or whatever. You can put whatever you want on there. Be appreciative of what someone does for you. That sometimes really hurts when a woman, I saw a guy, this broke my heart one day. I saw a guy who had posted a picture on Facebook. Oh, hello. Thank you for stopping in, Lloyd Christmas. It's nice to see you. I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day, and I hope you remember to get something for your mom. Just sort of get on to you for that. But he had taken a picture of his meal on his plate, and he put it online and said, what do you guys think about this meal? I worked all day and this is what I got for dinner. Okay. The thing is, he doesn't say, well, I have 3 small kids. Okay. I don't, whatever. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't think anything about what happened to her during that day. But the fact that she still made him dinner and had it on and put it on the table for him is an effort. See, that's what I'm trying to say. Someone who takes time out of their time for you means they care about you, or they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do anything for you. They just say, fix your own meal or whatever. You see what I mean? So try to be appreciative of the little things that somebody might do for you, whether it's making you a cup of coffee, even if they don't bring it to you, but they made it and said, hey, your coffee's ready. To me, I don't understand a person who just has their hand out waiting for someone to wait on them, but they never do it for the other person. So it takes 2 people to make a relationship. And I think that relationships last longer when both people work at their relationship. If one person does all the work, that's not a relationship. At least I don't see this relationship. So that's a few things from a woman, okay, that has had wants and needs and things that I know I would enjoy. And I have lots of friends and family members. I have 4 sisters, so I already have 4 friends right there. And we talk a lot about things like this. And we don't always agree on what we think is romantic or what's good for our kids or how we run our house. But listening to what they say and what they get and what they like and what they don't, I just am trying to share what I think is romantic. And I don't know a single woman that's not into romance. I mean, honestly, I don't. Now, I'm not one of those women that loves to go watch romance movies. I'd rather go see a horror or a drama or a Western or a superhero movie. I absolutely love anything to do with, like Superman or, any type of movie like that. But I'm not really into romantic comedies and stuff, but 2 or 3 of my sisters really into them. So, we're all different when it comes to that, but we all want to feel like we're the number one thing. We want to all feel like, all women want to feel like, he just loves me and no one else. I really do feel that. And a lot of us aren't verbal about it. We don't go and say, hey, this is what I want. And if I have to constantly go to him and say, this is what I want, can you do this? Can you do that? Or even like in the bedroom, if you're in the bed together and you're kissing and hugging and stuff, and that she's constantly saying, move over this way, try it like this, do that, do that. Does that still romantic? No. You want to go with the flow and just you push each other that way by your reactions, not have someone just go constantly. That's like them looking at their watch and how much longer is this going to last? That type of thing. Who wants to be in that kind of relationship? I don't. I want it to be spontaneous and fun. I want to look forward to, what might be coming up, in an hour or after dinner or when we get back from this event or whatever it is. But I don't know. I just wish that more people could, share that type of stuff with each other. It's like you do that when you're dating, you talk about all these different things, your wants, your needs, your dreams and all that. But then as soon as you put the ring on the finger, it's like you just assume the other one is going to be able to know what you want or what you need or whether you're upset. Instead of, a lot of people I know just give up. They just say, oh, well, it's over. Or, I can't do anything. No matter what I do, it's not good enough, whatever. A lot of relationships do end because someone cheats on them or they bankrupt you, or there's lots of things and reasons why, legitimate reasons to get a divorce. But if you go into a relationship at the very beginning on an even understanding about what's expected, give and take, I think it'll work better. And to sit down and talk about what you want in the relationship, like what direction do you want for the kids? What direction do you want for our home life to go? That type of thing. And what can I do as your partner in life to help you be more successful at your job? Or what can I do at home to make things more comfortable or whatever, that type of thing. So, and don't get rid of all your friends. If you had 4 best friends when you were dating and then you get married and he says, I don't want you to be with your friends, that's a warning sign right there. Because, a lot of women do that to men. They say, well, I don't like that friend of yours. I don't like this. I don't like you hanging with them, whatever. But if he said, I do to you, okay, that means he's taken time away from his friends for you. So to demand that he never sees his friends is not a good thing. Because I can tell you right now, if my guy told me he didn't want me to be with any of my friends, I would just say, well, then we're not in a relationship. That's what I would say. Because I'm who I am because of the people I have in my life. That's what I think about them. If they're a person and I never see them have friends, they don't do anything, they don't have a pet, they don't have anything going on in their life, they just do nothing. Why would I want to be with someone like that? Someone that has nothing to offer. They have no interests. They don't do anything. They watch TV. If that's all they do, then I don't know how I even met the person, honestly. But that's a couple of the things that I thought was important, because I hear so many people complaining that, different things going on in their relationship. And I'm like, well, did you try this or did you try that? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well then you haven't tried everything then. There's lots of things you haven't tried. Because there's so much online now you can read and look up. But the best thing you can ever do is just sit with that person and talk to them. Find out what's going on. Why all of a sudden this giant, gap in our relationship, and find out. Talking is the best thing that anyone can do for a relationship, is having communication. It's if you wait a long span to talk, then it's not going to be a conversation. It's going to be yelling, arguing. So it's too late when you start to fight all the time, because nothing gets, nothing gets done, nothing gets settled. So, you want to, I don't know, work towards having something besides arguing. But this was one of the things I thought was interesting when I found it. It says Valentine's Day has dark origins. And I was like, wow, really? This is interesting. You never know what you're going to find unless you start dabbling out there. And I just like finding out new things that I haven't ever looked into, read, or movies I haven't seen, music I haven't listened to yet. I like to try new foods, and this morning I've tried cotton candy, pickle flavored cotton candy. It was horrible, but I tried it. So you should always try something new, even if you don't think you're gonna like it. Just try it, because if one day you're gonna say, "Well, I don't want that," and you taste it and you go, "Oh my God, that's delicious," or or drink or whatever. So always try something new if you get your chance. Sorry, my throat is so dry, and it's been raining all day long. Okay, this was interesting. It says Valentine's Day is a time to celebrate romance and love and kissy face deity, but the origins of the festival of candy and cupids are actually dark, bloody, and a bit muddled. I didn't realize that. So I remember, I think it was in high school, when some movie came out and it was a Valentine's massacres or something like that. And I'm sure there's been more than one of them, but they were killing people on Valentine's Day. So I thought that was pretty gruesome, but that's what that made me think about that. But says that no one has pinpointed the exact origin of the holiday. One place to start is in ancient Rome. Now, earlier when I was reading the stuff from the History Channel, it did say that it was based in Christian and Roman, history, basically, is where they think it came from. So it says that the Romans celebrated the feast, and men sacrificed a goat and a dog, and then whipped women with the hides of the animals they had just slain. That's disgusting. I never heard of anything like that in my life. That is really, really gross. But we got to remember that we had a lot of pagan history, a lot of animal sacrifices, children sacrifices, and all around the world in different countries. Now, I'm not saying that had anything to do with Valentine's Day. I'm just saying that we have come a long ways from the barbaric methods that a caveman would come out of his cave and see a pretty woman, or a woman that he saw unaccompanied. He wasn't with a group of people, and he'd just go knock her on the head with a club or a rock and then drag her to his cave. And then now it belonged to him. So we've come a long way when it comes to the way people get a mate. With speaking and getting to know each other first. Because still, we went from knocking the lady in the head and dragging her to your cave to where, in some traditions, the family would have a son and maybe 3 daughters. So they would take a daughter and say, "Hey, you trade us those 2 cows or whatever, and we'll let you have one of our daughters because we know that you have 5 sons," that type of thing. So that kind of marriage arrangements started coming out of different tribes and from different countries for different things. And the same thing with, the kings and queens and royalty, to keep them from interbreeding, to where they, that's why they had lords and ladies and all this different stuff. They would try to find someone outside of their lineage to procreate with, so that they could bring in new blood into the families, because you start having more and more fingers and toes, and just other oddities would start happening. I remember watching a couple of documentaries about that. So, that kind of, I think, would take the romance out of a relationship when you were forced to marry someone that you didn't even know, basically. And maybe they were, 3 times older than you or whatever. That would be, pretty, I don't know, be horrible. So I'm thankful that I was born when I was, and that we live in a country where people can meet and choose to be with who they want to be with. That, people can't force you to marry this person or that person in this country, because it's illegal, thank goodness. And it's sad. I feel sad for all the people that it still happens to in other countries. I think it's terrible, but I'm thankful that I'm not in that realm of possibilities for that. But yeah, let me finish. Let me go back over here and finish reading this thing. This is pretty kind of interesting, but I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's really, really long. But I will share this link up here in the chat. That's gruesome, thinking about getting beaten with the hide of an animal that someone just slaughtered. That's kind of spooky. Think about it. And gross. But it's historical. I mean, somebody thought it was important enough to write an article about it. But that is one of the things that they say is part of the origins of Valentine's Day. Let me stop sharing that. Okay, there we go. Close that one so I don't open it back up again. And then I found another page that I thought was interesting. But it's really funny because when I looked back in the older things from, like 15 to 20 years ago, the ideas of what to do on a date, that kind of stuff, were so much different than they are today. And I'm going to share this because this was something, it's for now times. And I thought, wow, I started looking at it and I thought it was pretty funny. But it says these are ideas for 2026 for Valentine's, things that you can do. And I was like, wow, it's not the same as it was when I was in high school or, first starting to date and things like that. It says, this guide is packed with unique Valentine's Day ideas, from elegant dinner dates to free creative activities, right? Which I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying the things they choose to do is just really different. And it says elegant, intimate dinner date ideas for Valentine's Day, relaxation and wellness Valentine's Day ideas for a stress-filled day, or free day. But it's just some of the things when I was reading it. Let me just keep going down. Okay. Elegant, intimate dinner date ideas for Valentine's Day. Consider an exclusive dine at an aquarium. Going to an aquarium date for Valentine's Day is a great way to create a memorable experience with your partner. You'll love the intimate ambiance in the aquariums after hours, and some even offer live music. I didn't even know anything about that. And sometimes they offer drinks, desserts, photo books, and other light fare food that are likely to be offered on Valentine's Day. The thing is that this is a really great idea if you have a lot of money, because, I'm sure it's very expensive to rent out to do something like that at an aquarium after hours, where they have meals or whatever. Someone comes in and cooks for you and that kind of stuff. That's expensive. That's not a cheap date. To me, going for there's a couple of famous mountains, that you can go up and watch the sunset. And you can take a bottle of champagne or a bottle of wine or whatever it is that you want with your cooler beers or whatever, walk around, drink and talk. And, some of these places up at these mountains have light strung, they might have little cabins, places to sit or whatever. And it doesn't really cost you much. It's a gas to get there, your time walking around. I don't know. I just thought that the whole thing was romantic. I'm not saying it wouldn't be romantic, but that, if you add all that up, that's expensive. So you can't afford, a lot of people can't afford to do that, especially if you're living in a big city and your rent is like 2 of your paychecks a month just for your rent. Stuff like that it just makes it really hard. And a young woman that expects a young man that's around the same age as her, that's making around the same amount of money as she is, to be able to afford to spend that much money on a date, I think it's kind of, I don't know. I just think that I would be leery of a woman who expects that for every occasion, like, our anniversary, I have to have this, and I have to have a big giant gaudy diamond. I have to have this, I have to have that. This is what I want. And they also expect you to pay to get their nails done, go to the gym, whatever, that kind of stuff. You're signing up for something that you're going to have to keep working a lot and make more and more money to be able to keep this facade up for this person, when you should be able to do things like maybe just go and sit by the lake, and watch the moonlight on the water, or I don't know. I'm just saying there's lots of things out there to me that are romantic. Like going bowling with your friends, and all their dates or whatever, and then going to dinner, or going to dinner and then bowling, which, something like that, or even going to the movies. I used to love going to the movies, because to me, sitting in the theater watching a movie, it's an experience that a lot of people are never going to have now, because and that's really sad to me, simply for the fact that we're losing movie theaters. People are starting to doing these streaming, and it's I just see theaters closing down. And to me, that is another avenue that's gone. What was it? Way back when I was a little bitty kid, I remember going to Oklahoma to visit my grandparents, and they were so excited because they were going to take us to a drive-in theater. And my mom popped a bunch of popcorn in a those big paper bags, and we all stuffed into the station wagon, and we went. And then the kids got out and we sat on the hood of the car and stuff like that. And I thought it was really cool to be able to sit outside and watch a movie. I thought it was neat. But I don't even know if they even have any more of those now. I never even went to one until then, until I got to go see that one. And the only other one I ever went to, there was a thing called The Happening on the Green. And it was at an Air Force base, and it was outside. And we all were sitting outside, and had a big screen up, and we watched movies out there. We had blankets and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. But, it wasn't something you could do every day, because if you live somewhere where it rains a lot or it's freezing outside, people aren't going to spend time outside watching a movie. So, it limits things. But I don't know. Unless you can afford to pay for all the streaming services, you're limited to the amount of movies you're going to be able to watch with your family and stuff, compared to what it would be to go to, a movie theater. And one thing I really like is when you have the choice of having one of those theaters, like they call it the dollar theater, but I'm sure it's not $1. I'm sure it's like $5, $8 or whatever. But they have, it's an older theater, and they'll have fewer choices, and there'll probably be older movies that have been out for quite a while, so you won't be seeing it right when it comes out. So it's what you decide that you want to do and what can fit in your budget. But I don't recommend anyone blow all your money on one event to take someone out to impress them, because if you do it once and they're a new date, or they're going to expect that more and more and more, because your portraying that you have more than what you should. And I don't recommend that you do that, because I don't know. I just think that if you spend time together, talking, or, someone would take me to a Comic-Con or something like that, that would be a great date. That would be a lot of fun. I love these groups of people on YouTube that have meet and greets, and they'll say, we're going to be doing a big gathering in Orlando at Universal Studio or something like that. And they give you, 6 months to a year to save your money and plan to take your trip. So it's like your vacation, and you go there and you get to meet all these people that you've been talking to in chats and things like that on YouTube, or Rumble and other apps, and get to go meet these people in person. And then, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's sometimes it's a couple days, whatever, depending on, what your budget is or whatever, and how you want to set it up, and who you talk to, and how you want to set it up to meet these people at different things during the few days that you're there. So to me, that's a great idea. And I wish more people could do that kind of stuff, but not everybody's into that. But the thing is that I wish more people could do that, had that option, and because it's cheaper to do that. And when you have like 4 people that are all going to go, you can say, hey, we can all get a room, and we can all share a room together and save money, as long as you know each other. I don't expect you to do that with people you don't even know. But I just think that there's so many things you can do out there with your partner, the person, if they're interested in a lot of things that you do. Because I've met a few people on X that this is their name, and their spouse's name is on there too, and they're not always in the same spaces together and stuff like that, because one might like music space, and another one wants to go talk about sports, stuff like that. But they still enjoy doing those things. Both understand, I like this and I like that, and they let them do those things. To me, that's important, that you both have your own little clique, things that you do on the side, your hobbies, like if your wife doesn't like to play golf, but she likes to go to a gardening thing, or go to the flea market or things like that, then the husband can go play golf. See, things like that. But that takes communication, like I was saying, and sitting down and talking to each other about what you expect that, in your relationship. So I don't know. I just wish more people would take time to get to know each other first, become friends before you start adding all the, other things, interludes and stuff like that, with someone you don't even really know. And one of you gets feelings and the other one doesn't. And that's really sad, because then you have one person who's getting her heart broken, while the other one's pursuing someone else already, because they already got what they wanted from this relationship. So know what the person, your potential date is wanting, whether they want a relationship or not, before you dive in head first. Because that's why, to me, I think it's important. Your first couple of dates should just be to get to know each other, talk about what you like, what you don't, because you may be two total opposites when you get together for the first time. You may have had some chemistry when you passed each other on the street or bumped into each other, whatever. And then once you started finding out what the other one's interests are and their lifestyle, you start going, yeah, I'm not really interested, to have any type of relationship with that person. So I don't know. I wish more people would, try to do that and see what happens. But everybody's different. Everybody's going to try what they want to try. But that was one of the things I wanted to bring up, is that it takes effort to have a relationship. It takes two people giving and taking in equal quantities to have a good relationship. Because if you want to be one of those old couples like I want to be, that you see, at a picnic or at a park or at the grocery store or at a restaurant, that are still holding hands, when they're all like at their cane or whatever and they're old. Oh God, I would love to have that. I would love to have the same person be with me for a very long time to where we can enjoy life, living life together, even though nobody's going to have any kind of relationship where you never argue. You're always going to have disagreements. I mean, it's just impossible to have a relationship. I mean, look at your parents, look at you and your siblings. You know, it's just impossible to have. I'm happy every single day, and we'll never fight. We're always agreeing everything. I don't know. I just don't think that's possible. I don't think anyone could have that kind of a relationship. But I don't know everyone, and there's millions and millions and millions of people in the world. So maybe there are a few out there that were able to do that. But I don't think I've ever met anyone that had that. So I'm getting another drink. But if any of you in the chat have stories or things that you've tried, I would like to hear it. Yeah. Oh, you're so sweet. You thanked her for giving you life. And that's good because it takes a lot of work to carry another being in your body, and you don't do bad things while you're pregnant because you don't want to hurt your kid. You don't want to smoke, you don't want to drink, you don't want to do drugs, you want to try to eat well and exercise, just do all these things. Then, especially as a parent, before you never had a kid before, and you have a kid, and then you're like, oh my God, I gotta responsible. I'm 100% responsible for this kid. It's not like you can take it and hand it to your mom and say, Mom, I want you to take care of it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So it's scary, but she will do everything for you. You know what I mean? She does every single thing your body needs. Your parents are going to do it for you. They're going to feed you, clothe you, keep you safe, keep you warm, give you love, and hopefully teach you right from wrong, and try to raise you to be responsible and to be good to other people, good to animals, things like that. And you have good parents, you know what I mean? And then hopefully one day you will be the parent and you will be doing the same thing and sharing the same stories and information that your parents share with you with your own children. So that's the whole thing. That's the cycle of life. It's just you just pass it on to the next generation, and I think that's what's supposed to happen. And it's sad to see so many families breaking up and things like that, because we're raising a bunch of people, to me, that I see that are spoiled. We're so used to this, I want it right now. And then when they can't get it, oh, this relationship's not working out for whatever purpose or for whatever reason it pops up. But I don't know. It's love is complicated, because if you don't know what the other person wants, how are you supposed to keep them happy? And the only way you're going to know that is if they tell you, right? Or show you. So that's why it's important to have communication, because without it, I'm not talking about, it doesn't have to be speech, because if you can't hear, or you can't see, or you can't speak, you got to figure out other ways to communicate. And that's why I say a lot is actions speak louder than words. If you constantly do certain things for that person and they never do those things for you, without them even speaking, you already should be thinking, well, this isn't going to work out, because I feel like I'm constantly bending over backward for this person, and they're not even doing half of what I feel like I've done. And you go 20 years doing that, and then after 20 years, you're going like, I don't want to do this anymore, because this person, I'm giving my whole life to a person who doesn't want to give anything back to me. And I know a lot of people who've been in that situation or they've been in an abusive relationship, or, lots of different things. And there are reasons that people don't stay married, and I understand that. But, you know, when you're out looking, dating someone, a date to me, from my mother, because she had 5 daughters, to me, a date is looking for a potential mate, someone that you're going to maybe end up living with, cooking with, sleeping with, doing all these things with this person, maybe raising a family with them. And I think you should know as much about that person as you possibly can if you're going to end up moving in with them. I mean, do you even know what their favorite color is? What their favorite song is? What's their favorite food? What's their favorite pastime? Do they like sports? That type of thing. Actual relationship with someone which more about them than just jumping into bed with them because you're on this app that you swipe left or right and you hook up with them. So I don't know. I don't like any of those things. I think it's really sad, and it's degrading, I think, that you're just meeting up with the person just so you can have sex with them. I don't know. I feel sorry for those people that's all you're looking for. You must hate yourself, or you never want to share your life with someone else, because why? Your life isn't worth sharing with anyone. Then why would you want to share a bed with them? That type of thing. That to me is something I wish a lot of people would think about and actually try to implement in their life. And I think they'd be happier. I think they'd be happier with themselves, because every person they dated could be a potential person that they could marry and spend the rest of their life with. Because every time you have any type of those inner reactions, where you actually, have sex with someone, you have a risk of the chemical reaction feelings evolving into maybe love, or they feel like they're in love with them, but the other person's only interested in having sex with them. That's it. Nothing more. They don't want to know more about them. So when that happens, how do you get out of that? How do you stop living that type of lifestyle if you're already in it? It doesn't make any sense. So I wouldn't want my child to just go from one hookup to another. One, because to me, it could cause another life to come that you don't want, or you're not ready for. It could cause diseases. That's another thing. And the fact that it could cause somebody to get heartbroken and depressed. And that's not a good thing, because I've seen a lot of people hurt another person because they felt like they were cheated, or they didn't want to see that person that they loved or thought they loved, or they thought the other person loved them with other people, that type of thing. So that's why I really believe that dating somebody should be to find out who they are and whether or not they're potentially what you might want to spend the rest of your life with, instead of just, oh, wow, she's got a great rack, or he's got a nice ass, so I'm going to sleep with him. To me, that's ridiculous, and I feel sorry for that. And I think that is one of the reasons why we're in the mess that we're in right now, with all these perverted, freaky things going on in our environment, in our world. Every day I read about horrible stuff going on because more people just look the other way because they've already seen it, done it, been there, no big deal, and nobody gives a crap. And more and more people are not giving a crap. When someone's being assaulted in the street and people just walk by, it's pretty bad. I wouldn't want to live there. And I know a lot of people that would love to get away from where they're at, because that's all there is around them. And you can't even go on a date without thinking that, you're never going to go home. That's kind of hard to think about raising a family and, getting married or any of that stuff, because why would you want to do that in this town? You know what I mean? And if you feel like you're stuck there, definitely don't get in a relationship, because, you already know what the outcome is going to be, because that's the neighborhood you can end up having to live in. So, try to work towards something else. But, yeah, that was basically all I wanted to talk about. Was just, I thought it was pretty interesting, the whole history of Valentine's Day that I talked about when I first started. And I just had a few things that you might want to add for your, to spice up your relationship. Oh, one of the other ones was, one of the things that I like to do when we do a girl, a guy in a movie, I dress up as different characters or in theme. If it's a Western or if it's a sci-fi or comedy or whatever, I choose different outfits. And that's something you can do. You want to, once a month, you decide that you're going to go to pick a bar, and let's say the gentleman goes in first and he sits down somewhere, and then the woman comes and she goes in, in their own vehicles or whatever, and then she could either go by where he's sitting and do something, I don't know, whatever, but like do a chance meeting like you've never met before, and meet in a bar and act like you're strangers and just start talking to each other. It's role playing type thing. Things like that's fun. Or you could, your husband shows up from work, you have dinner on the table and you're dressed up as a French maid with a crazy wild hair wig or a crazy outfit or whatever. It's fun. It's fun to pretend. There's nothing wrong with that if you both are consenting, and it could be fun. You never know. You could be wearing a doctor's jacket and, do something like pull out some glasses and just be the love doctor, and put your glasses on and tell them you're gonna interview him and find out what's he's ailing from, that type of thing. There's just so much stuff you can do. And buying each other outfits, like I said earlier, is you get a card, put money on it, and you give them a birthday card or whatever, and you say, I want you to buy me some sexy lingerie. I know it's a gift for me, but I want you to pick it out because I want whatever it is you want me to wear, that type of thing. So make it fun, because if it's two consenting adults, you can do anything you want. It's nobody else's business. So, if you want to be a blonde tomorrow night and a redhead the night after, or you want to have a short, sassy black haircut, you can do it. It's fun, and it's not expensive. I mean, it really isn't. If you shop around and you plan in advance about what you're looking for, because what I try to do every Halloween, after Halloween, I buy 5 or 6 different costumes. Like I bought me a flight attendant outfit. I bought an officer uniform, for like if you did officer in a officer, one of those military officer shows or whatever, and it's white, it's a dress uniform or whatever. And then I bought, a couple of different things like that. You just jumpsuits, bodysuits. You could buy some wigs. You could buy wings. I got white wings. I got fairy wings. I got black wings. I got, I got halos, for dark angel, or a white one for a regular angel. I have all kinds of stuff, and it's fun. And you just put them in a box, keep them aside or whatever, and pull them out when you want to say next week's playtime, whatever. And it's something between you and your partner, and you can do whatever you want. And maybe he can dress up as the refrigerator repairman and show up, early from work one day or something. Who knows? The sky's the limit. But for a steamier, fun relationship, what's wrong with it? have you ever dyed your hair? If you've dyed your hair blonde and dyed your hair red, or you dyed your hair brown, or purple, whatever you've done, and then you bought a new outfit or whatever, or new heels, things like that. What's the difference of going and buying, a fireman outfit and let him dress up as a fireman, pick you up and throw you over his shoulder and take you into the bedroom, or something like that. Or you could dress up as a chef and play with some flour, things like that. I mean, I'm just saying there's so many things you can do. It's your imagination. The sky's the limit. You can do anything you want. But there's so many fun things that you can do with your partner that can make things more fun. But you got to talk to each other, you know what I mean, to find out what each other wants to do. But if you pick one day, it should be, to me, I think it's healthy to do it one day a week, but at least once every 2 weeks or once a month. Pick one day to do something. And there's games out that you can buy with cards, and the cards have different things to do, and you shuffle the deck, and then you pass out the cards, and you each get one, and you both have to do what's on your card. Ugh, sorry, I'm getting really tired. I got up like at 3 o'clock this morning for some reason. I don't know why, and I went to bed late too because I had the shit show last night. But there's games out there you can do that, and then you just draw the cards and you do what's on the card for your partner, right? So that way it's spontaneous. You don't know what to expect, and but you can also plan things out and say, well, I can get this cabin, my friend's cabin, on this night, and on this thing, and plan a whole thing to go do that. You know what I mean? So you can do things together, and both want to do it. Because if you're talking about doing these things and your partner just says whatever you want, that isn't him or her agreeing to do it. That sounds like someone who is already out of it. They're not interested. But I don't know. I just wish that more people could have a good time, and enjoy each other's company, and keep enjoying each other's company for years to come by just trying to fill the needs the other one has. And always apologize. If you do something and you did something wrong, apologize for it. Get it over with. I'm really sorry, and I'm going to try never to have that happen again. Do the best you can to do those things, and it will help. Overall, it will help your relationship. But try not to take each other for granted. And I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of all these things. My sisters and other people have told me that's helped their relationship. So, but communication is still number one, period. If you can't talk to each other, then it's not going to last, because you got to know what each other wants, period. But I wanted to say thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me. It's fun. I hope you guys didn't get too bored. But I got to get ready, get some stuff taken care of. It's almost it's after 9:30. Yeah, for me, it's late. But hope you guys had a wonderful Valentine's Day with whoever your significant other one is. And maybe you can plan something special for their birthday or your anniversary if it's coming up. Spring is coming. It's been raining and raining and raining all day here. So it's not winter now. It seems like it's springtime already. And my allergies never got a break. It's so miserable. But hope you guys have a wonderful rest of this weekend. And stay out of trouble. But make sure you kiss and hug the ones you love every day, and tell them you love them. So you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you later. Bye.